doing my labor and delivery story. So my labor and delivery story starts the Wednesday before I had my daughters. I went in for my 33-week appointment, and I was only 32 weeks and 6 days when I went in. And I told my doctor that I had been feeling a little bit uncomfortable and I had a little bit of cramping, so she did a test and checked me to see if I was dilated. The test she did was to see if I'd go into labor in the next 2 weeks. I got a call the next morning that the test came back positive that I could go into labor in the next 2 weeks. And I was not dilated at all when she had checked me. I was just thinning a little bit. So I had to go in the next morning and get my first set of steroid injections to help the baby's lungs become more developed just in case of early labor. And so I did that on Thursday and Friday. Then Saturday was my baby shower. I was 33 weeks and 2 days. And the night before my baby shower, I did not sleep at all. I was so uncomfortable. My back hurt so bad. I couldn't even lay down or sit down for very long without being in enormous amounts of pain. So I literally just walked laps throughout my house just to get me through the night. Next morning, I'm already up when my parents get up, and I helped my mom get ready for the baby shower, and then we went and ran some errands, and I literally had to be reclined in the car because I could not sit up straight. I was in so much pain. I was like freezing at the same time, and this is August, and it was definitely not cold out, but I was freezing. So I'm walking around in a hoodie and sweats, just freezing. So I get through the baby shower, and my legs are so swollen. My ankles are swollen, my feet are swollen. I was huge. Like, I was just so uncomfortable the whole time, and everybody noticed that I was pretty much swollen, but no one really thought to think, hey, she might be in labor. We all just thought, I need to get off my feet, I'm overdoing it, I need to relax. So the next morning, because the night of my baby shower, after my baby shower I should say, I didn't sleep again. I just kept walking around, and we have a chair in our dining room, and I literally just sat there and watched the sunrise. That was the only place I could feel comfortable. So I sat there and watched the sunrise, and my dad walked in and was like, "Are you seriously watching the sunrise?" Because I'm someone who I can sleep in till noon. I'm not a morning person, so it's pretty weird for me to be up watching the sunrise. So it gets to about 9 o'clock on Sunday, and I'm still just feeling the same way. I'm so uncomfortable. I have my mom massaging my back. My cousin even got me a band to see if just holding my belly up would help, and that wasn't helping. If I went to the bathroom with that on, it was probably like the worst pain ever. So I had to take that off every time I go to the bathroom. So about 9:30, I told my mom, I said, we should probably call the doctor just because it's not getting better and I just feel horrible still. So my mom called the on-call doctor, and he said just to come in and we're gonna check everything out. So I head to the hospital, which I actually asked my mom, I said, do I even need to pack a hospital bag for this? Because I'm 33 weeks, I'm not expecting to be in labor. I didn't have a hospital bag packed. All the newborn clothes that I had still had tags on it. Everything still had tags on it because I just gotten it the day before. So I realized I should probably take a bag just in case. And the 2 outfits I had grabbed were newborn and still tags on them, never been washed. The pacifiers were still in the package. Everything was still in the package. Everything hadn't been washed yet, and I'm taking it to the hospital. I have one car seat, the other one was still on its way, so I was definitely not prepared to have a baby that weekend. So I get to the hospital, and when I get out of the car, my stomach kind of starts tightening. So I didn't think like I was still in labor or anything. It just wasn't normal for me. And if you hear barking, I'm sorry, my neighbor's dogs just got let out and they bark a little bit. So then when I get into the hospital and I'm in the labor and delivery triage, I'm laying there and then my stomach really starts tightening, like I'm just like having to breathe through it. It's not painful, it's just like uncomfortable. Like my back was so much worse than any of the tightening of my stomach. So then a nurse comes in and checks me, and she like kind of had this like puzzled look on her face and said I need to get another nurse to check. And I was like, well, what's going on? And she said, just hold on, it's all okay. So she goes and gets another nurse. The nurse comes in and checks me and says, I can feel the head, you're at a 10, the babies are coming right now. And I instantly just started crying. Like, I was like, there's no way, how's this even possible? Like, there's no way I'm having them right now. I was terrified and definitely unprepared. We got a hold of my dad, and then next thing we know, I'm getting taken back to an OR to have my babies. I had no pain medicine in me, so I literally had 100% natural birth. I had nothing to help me at all. So, I mean, I would recommend, if you can handle the pain and if the pain is okay, do a natural birth. Like, pushing, when you're pushing, you really don't have that much pain. The worst pain that comes out of it is probably like if you have back labor and if you tear, which I did. My doctor was not the best and decided that she wanted to get out of there as quick as she could. I had only been pushing for an hour. Both the babies were head down, so I was able to do a vaginal birth. So I'd been pushing for an hour with baby A, and her head was out, and the doctor was like, you know what, we're just gonna suction her out. That was horrible. Worst pain ever. I literally had done a full-on sit-up when they started suctioning her, and I screamed in the doctor's face. Like, I literally sat up and screamed in the doctor's face. It was horrible. And so they get her out, and when they were suctioning her out, I literally felt myself tear. Like, it was, I can't even describe that pain. That pain was not fun at all. So then baby B, who is super, super tiny, she finally just plopped right out 17 minutes later. So I had been pushing for about 2 hours at this point, maybe. So that was pretty interesting, but the only thing was, because I was having back labor, I couldn't feel the contractions. So my back was just hurting the whole time. So I had a nurse having to watch on a monitor to tell me, okay, push now. Okay, wait, don't push now. So that was kind of difficult. In that room, when I was giving birth, the OR was packed because there's a group of people for baby A, a group of people for baby B, and a group of people for me. So this room is completely packed. My dad's up by my head, just trying to coach me along through it. My mom's running around the room with a camera, taking pictures of everything. So that was just like crazy all in itself. And then because I tore, I needed to get stitched up. My doctor did not numb me at all down there when she stitched me. I felt every single stitch, and I literally was trying to get off the bed. They had a nurse holding me down because I was trying to get off that bed. It hurt so bad, and then my doctors left. And they took me back to this recovery room, and I literally, the second I got in there, I was in so much pain. I was screaming, I was crying. I was like, Mom, this hurts. By that time, my cousin was there because I had asked for her to be in the room when I had the babies, but she wasn't able to come down because she was in a different city than I am. So she's in there, and I'm literally pulling up my gown just saying, it hurts, it hurts, it hurts. Well, little did we know, I was about to experience one of the scariest things I've ever experienced in my entire life. Down there started swelling very big, and it was getting really, really painful. And this is a pain I cannot describe at all. It was one of the worst pains I have ever felt in my entire life. And I remember just being in so much pain and asking for pain meds and asking for pain meds, and all they would give me was this pain med that lasts for 15 minutes and it's over with. So I wouldn't remember everything during this time just because I would pass out from the pain meds, and then I'd wake up and it's like, here it is again, and I'm screaming in pain. And so they kept putting an ice pack, which was a frozen preemie diaper, and they'd push it down on there. That was horrible. So I have that pushing on there. I have like barely any pain meds in me at this point, and I'm just screaming. 5.5 hours pass, and I've been screaming this entire time, flipping and flopping on the bed in so much pain. And my mom and dad said, okay, this is it. We need to get the doctor, because they had been getting nurses and nurses and nurses, and no one was really doing anything other than every 30 minutes giving me more pain medicine. So by this time, down there is the size of a soda can. So it was probably about this big down there on the side. And it was horrible. I never saw it. I don't remember seeing it. And then the doctor comes in and says, okay, yeah, no, we need to do something. And this, may I remind you, is not my doctor. This is the on-call doctor. My doctor delivered because she showed up because she wanted to deliver twins, but the on-call doctor did not feel right stepping in until my parents said, no, you need to do something. So the on-call doctor orders a CAT scan, so I get wheeled down there. I literally had one leg bent up and the other one hanging off the bed with my gown up, so everyone could see everything, and I didn't even care at that point. I was in so much pain, screaming down the hallway, and I remember I got to the CAT scan area, and I told the nurse, I said, I'm not putting this leg down, I'm not putting my gown down, and this leg is not moving. I was like, done. I was over it. I was like, heck no, not happening. So we get that, and then they take me back up to my room, and I was in there for about 5 minutes, and then they take me back to another OR. So in this OR, there's an anesthesiologist and a bunch of people all over again, and a nurse who had been with me since I was in the trauma room. And I was just talking to him, and I actually started arguing with the anesthesiologist. I said, you know what, put me to sleep. I've been through enough, put me to sleep. And he's like, no, I'm not putting you to sleep. You'll be fine. Because I did get a spinal tap. I did get an epidural, but it didn't work at all. So I literally had no pain meds. So he already had the tap in my back, and I said, just put me to sleep. It didn't work. I'm done. Just put me to sleep. And he said, no, I'm not putting you to sleep. You'll be fine. In this moment, I had been laying on the OR table for about 5 minutes, and they were prepping everything, and all of a sudden, I feel this burst of relief. And then 2 seconds later, it was like I thought I was dying in that moment. It was horrible. Worst pain I have ever felt in my entire life. And what they said it was down there was a hematoma, which is a giant bruise that actually expands from your skin. And it had ruptured when I was on the OR table. So I actually started bleeding out. They had blood prepared and all of that because they actually thought, because I had lost so much blood already from giving birth to twins, that if they didn't have a blood transfusion right there for me, I was going to die. So they told my parents that. They said, it's not looking good. She has a good chance of dying. Like, you just need to be prepared. I had no idea of this until after the surgery. I didn't know the risks of anything. I just knew I wanted to be fixed. I was in so much pain, I wanted to be out of pain. And that was the scariest thing, was realizing that, yeah, I could have died. Like, I could not be here right now. I couldn't be watching my daughters grow up, and that's terrifying to find out through all this. So I wake up after surgery, and there's a nurse in my room, and I felt better. I ended up with a total of 25 stitches down there. I was in the hospital, so I had my daughters on a Sunday, went to the hospital on a Sunday. I did not go home until the next Sunday, so I was in the hospital for an entire week, and I couldn't hardly walk. Down there was so stitched up, it hurt so bad, I was still bleeding. I was actually getting tons of blood clots. I still had so many problems with me, and it was the worst thing ever. But I would not change any of it for anything. I am so thankful to have my daughters, and I'm so happy to have them here, healthy, and I'm just very, very happy. So the reason why I went into early labor is because I ended up with preeclampsia, anemia, and high blood pressure. So as I had said before, I went in for my appointment on Wednesday. My doctor did not mention any of this, but she knew it all. It was in the notes and everything, so she knew it all this entire time and never told me until she finally told us, oh yeah, you're having them right now because of this. So that was just, it made me really upset to know that it could have been prevented days before, but no action was taken, and God knows how long I had that problem, and she just never did anything about it. So my daughters actually were in the NICU because they were born at 33 weeks and 3 days. They were in the NICU for a month, and they finally got to come home, and that was like one of the best days ever, was just being able to bring my babies home, and it was wonderful. So that happened, and then a little bit after that, I went in for my post-op appointment. My doctor did not check me at all. She just talked to me and made excuses about why everything happened. But this experience has been insane. It's been crazy. The labor and delivery was crazy, but like I said, I wouldn't change anything for the world, and I'm so incredibly blessed. So if you guys have any questions, if you want to see any videos, any other types, just let me know, and I hope you guys have an amazing day.